Hi and welcome back to the channel, and today is the last part of our segment of Swamp Thing, the MPV vehicle that has been neglected for years. In previous episodes, as we can see, we've spent quite a bit of time washing it, including the engine bay. We've also done other things like refurbish the alloy wheels on the car. To give this vehicle a really thorough deep clean, we removed all the seats from the vehicle to remove a number of interesting finds, from the element of a kettle or something like a primer stove to cobwebs to playing cards. It was pretty disgusting, and the seats were in a pretty sorry state as well. So these all got thoroughly cleaned, and I'll put a link in a card above here so you can see the previous episodes. Today's episode's highlighting on the damaged paintwork, which is in a really bad state, as we can see here. As someone described it, it looks like someone drove the car through a safari park and all the animals jumped on it at once and just clawed the paintwork. So we've got quite a lot of work here, and as we can see even on this mirror cover, it's so matted there's hardly any reflection there. Due to the severity of the damage on the paintwork, I've decided to wet sand it to speed up the correction. So I'm going to be using an air-powered dual action sander here by a company called Merca. And we're going to be using their Abralon sanding pads. As we can see here, they're Velcro backed, and they also indicate what grade they are. So that one there is 3000 grade. Once the panel's been sanded, we'll switch to the H9 Koshkemi cutting compound to bring back the gloss in the paintwork. And we'll be using a number of different pads just for experimentation. The first one is a Chemical Guys Quantum cutting pad. There's also a Ruper's wool coarse cutting pad there as well. And finally, we've got a Flex pad, which again is their more coarse cutting pad as well. And for the final stage, to give that panel the really nice looking gloss level that we want, we're going to be using Koshkemi M2 in conjunction with a Quantum polishing pad by Chemical Guys. Not that we really need an inspection light on this one to show how bad the paintwork is, but it does also show some of the lower level scratching and marring in here that's also in the panel that you may not see sort of in a workshop without the aid of a special light. So just have a look at that first, and that gives us an idea of what we got to deal with. So a lot of this video is going to be accelerated time so we can speed the process up. So what really took 2 days will be shown in about 15 minutes. So first of all, I've been using 2000 grade, which is obviously quite coarse, and with some soapy water just to lubricate the surface there. I'm just working over certain panels and scratches that I can see, and as we can notice, the panel becomes completely matte when you do this process, and that's also quite good because some of the scratches then will be more highlighted, and you can really work on certain areas to see how bad they were and what you need to do to improve it. Once that process is done and you're happy with the amount of correction you can get, I've then gone down to 3000 grade to remove some of the harsher sanding marks, and then once that's done, I can then process down to the coarse cutting compound. That would be the H9 Koshkemi, say with the cutting compound head, and this is now, as we're about to see on camera, going to really start to bring the gloss back out of the panel, and we can see those scratches start to disappear. As with the sanding, some areas might need to be worked more than one time, to sort of get the best as we can out of this paintwork. And once that's got to the stage where I'm happy with it, I'll then go down to the Koshkemi M201, and that's just going to give that panel the last bit of gloss and really bring out the deep shine we're looking for. And if you're unfamiliar with these type of cars, I've not got superhuman powers. This is actually a plastic front wing, hence why it's flexing so much. I didn't want people thinking, wow, he's putting a lot of pressure on that. It's not the case, it's just purely it's plastic. And these things really do move around quite a lot. So with the aid of the inspection light, we can now see on the right hand side that we've still got the safari park scratches, shall we say, and on the left it's far from perfect, but it's a monumental improvement. If we can get the rest of the car to look a little bit like that, then do you know what, I think this car might be usable and could do somebody a good service in the future. So with the front wing complete, I can have a look to do the rest of the car. So I'm going to raise it up on the ramp so I've got better access to the lower parts of the panel, and it's going to save my bag. As we're about to see how effective the wet sanding process is, this white paint that's been scraped onto the surface of the car's paintwork is almost removed in an instant and allows us to get down to the rest of the scratches on the vehicle as well. Now we're not going to be able to eradicate all of them, but we are going to be able to improve this to a really good standard. And on the polishing process, I've now switched to the Rupes wool cutting pad. There's a little bit of an experiment really, just to see on one car in the same paintwork which pads were more effective. And I've got to be honest, the wool pad in this experiment by far was the most good at speeding up workflow. It cut through the sanding marks very, very quickly and restored gloss, as we can see on camera, extremely well. So I was quite surprised, and I'll definitely be buying some more of those in the future because they're an extremely effective tool. So the door handle in this vehicle was one of those areas I didn't know how well it was going to improve because it was really bad. It really does look like Captain Hook out of Peter Pan's got in and out of the car on a regular basis and just scraped the door to bits. So this was a bit of a trial by error, and to see how much clear coat was there that we could sand back to try and improve the appearance of that. And again, I was quite surprised how well that came up. So here we have a close-up of what we've managed to achieve. Now, it's not completely gone. There is still some indentation and lack in the top and the bottom, but unless you're really close up, it's not that noticeable. So a relatively good improvement. Another area that often gets overlooked is these door trims. So they've gone completely and utterly matte, and they usually have like a satin finish, which we're about to see. So just took a little bit of extra time here just to buff these up and improve them. because again, it's these little things that make the overall appearance of the car a lot better. So one of the last areas we're going to look in this process is the top of the rear bumper. So obviously where they've put things in and out the back over the time, and probably had a dog in there as well, it's been clawed quite badly, and this just looks awful. So we're going to mask this up, and we can do a little bit of a 50-50 so you guys can see a before and after of how well this turns out. So this is a real quick buzz over just to show you how fast these cutting pads can get rid of defects. And obviously on the left we've got the previous, and on the right this would still need some more work and a bit more refining and refinishing, but you say the difference is like night and day so quickly. It's just removed a lot of that damage and actually given some reflection and gloss back to that paintwork. So 50 hours later and 4 episodes, we finally finished Swamp Thing. And it's come out pretty well. The vehicle now looks to a standard that anybody could get in it and use it on a daily basis. Now, the customers decided, because a lot of the damage has been sanded out, that they will send the vehicle to body shop, and the bits which still look a little bit rough where the dents are and a few of the bigger scrapes, the body shop will take care of that and improve it. But as we see in these before and after shots, we've made a monumental difference to this vehicle and saved it from the scrap heap. I think this is one of the most dramatic shots you'll see. Looking at this front bumper and wing and how badly scraped they are and damaged, it looks almost impossible to do anything with them. But as we're about to see in these after shots, it's amazing what you can achieve if you just take a little bit of time and effort, and how much of an improvement you can make on something even when it's this bad. And likewise with this front door, it was really badly scraped, and as we go to the after shots, there is still some indentations in the lacquer, so it's far from perfect, but on a day-to-day basis on a car that's done 110,000 miles and is 10 years old, is more than acceptable. And the final shot will be this rear boot area. As we can see, it's just been absolutely clawed to death, where the dog's got in and out or they've loaded luggage in. And again, there's still some marks in the indentations in the lacquer, and it's been touched in, but it's a huge improvement. You'll be pleased to know that I've just finished filming a couple of really high mileage Fords. They were absolutely gross. One of them was really, really disgusting. And I've also got a Volkswagen coming shortly as well. So stay tuned, and I'll see you on the next video. Once again, thank you very much for watching.